Hello everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to Nails by Sora. Um, yeah, this video has been a while in the making, or at least a while in the planning. If you have visited my channel before and watched me briefly touch upon acrylic nails, you know then that I have been quite interested in delving into the process of applying my own acrylics. If for no other reason, just exploratory and learning a new technique. It's something that I always had done on my own nails when I went to salons back in the day, and I have the acrylic powder, so why not try to use it? So I decided to step away from the fake nails in terms of doing them on nail stands and try applying them to my own 10 digits. And shockingly, it went pretty well. It's not perfect, far from it. The finished look I'm very proud of, but it'd take a bit of filing and correcting the direction my nails were going in because I didn't apply the paper forms all too well. But we're going to go through the process, and I'm going to ask if you please like and subscribe this video. Hit that notification bell so that you always know when a new video is available. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down below, and we're just going to jump right on into it. So as you can see, I'm prepping my nails. I removed all the product from my last manicure. I went and I dehydrated, and then I went and I applied some base gel just to protect my nail from the acrylic for when I file it off and put on a new set. And now I'm flash curing my thumbs so that I can go in and do the rest of my hand. Don't remember if I mentioned it, I think I probably did, dehydrated my nails first. And after I go in and cure the base gel, I'm going to wipe the inhibition layer and lightly buff the nail so that the acrylic powder will adhere properly. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that. Maybe that's something I should investigate before jumping in and doing my nails. But I believe that you should probably rough up your nails first because the acrylic will have a stronger adhesion. So I'm going in and I'm buffing, and then we're going to jump on into the application process. I am using paper forms. In hindsight, I did do them one at a time. I would apply one, get the acrylic nail on, and then while that was drying, I would go and get the second nail going on. But in hindsight, I would do all 5 fingers of one hand at a time, at once, so that you could probably line up the nails, make sure that the paper forms are on straight, as some of mine were not, and I wound up with slightly crooked application. And now, as you can see, my bottle of Moravan monomer has polymerized because I kept it in the window. I don't know why the bottle was clear, as monomer cures in UV light, and yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I picked up the bottle to dispense some, and it was solid as a rock. So thankfully I had a backup bottle by Young Nails, which is in an opaque bottle, smartly so. And now I'm going in with a number 8 acrylic brush, and I'm just wetting it and cleaning it because there is some residue on it. I'm not sure if the residue is in the bristles of the brush or if it's in the jar of monomer itself, but I didn't have any trouble with cross-contamination and discoloration with the acrylic powder that I chose to use. So this next best tip I could give you is when you're applying paper forms is to pinch the top of it closed before you try to attach it to your nail. That way you'll get the right angle, you'll get the shape right on the tip, and then it'll be easier to sneak it underneath your nail and get it stuck to your finger. I had a bit of difficulty doing so in the manner that I was trying to apply it. So probably the next time I apply a full set, I'll pinch it closed first. But I'm using Modelones acrylic powder. It came in a set of, I believe, 10 colors, either 8 or 10. And I have to say, this is the easiest acrylic powder I've ever used, as well as the Young Nails monomer. I didn't realize that Young Nails monomer is slow drying. Their monomer is low odor, and low odor monomers are slower drying, and that actually helps me out a lot. I've watched Nail Education Center, Nail Career Education, with Susie, and that's something that she goes into in depth. So if you want real information and step-by-step instructions on how to apply acrylic powder properly, I would definitely watch her videos. But I actually don't think I did too bad of a job. One of the things that I think she mentioned in her videos is when you're creating extensions, to create the tip first, and that's the part that extends past your nail, and then you can connect it to your nail plate and pull it down towards your cuticle. So that's what I'm doing right now. I created the tip, made sure that it was somewhat stable and not sliding off the sides, and now I'm just working it down the apex and towards the cuticle line. I did find it rather easy to do it in 2 to 3 beads. I know a lot of instructions direct first time acrylic users to use as many beads as they deem necessary, but I really didn't have any problems doing it in 3 beads. I felt I could almost even do it in 2, but I wanted to really make sure that I had the apex properly formed, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't creating my layers too thin. So I'm just moving it towards the cuticle line now. I'm working it up around the free edge. I'm going to make sure that my lines are connected up the free edge towards the, up the side walls towards the free edge. And then I'm going to add in another bead in the center of the apex and create that nice rounded curvature to make sure that there's proper structure so that the nail doesn't crack. Ironically enough, after I finished my full set, I went to pick up a box outside, a delivery of water that I had gotten, and dropped it and pulled on the middle nail of my right hand and cracked it along the cuticle. Now it was extremely thin, but I was able to go in and do a backfill and patch it up. So on the same day that I did my first full set application, I also did my first backfill. But I will do a video probably next week or the week after. Whenever I do my next, my first backfill, I will do a video on that and show you how I do that. But like I said, overall, I think this process went relatively smoothly. I am going to show you the extremely ridiculous and long nails that I created and the weird directions that my nails ended up going in, because they're quite funny. But I'm happy I was able to correct it and make sure that they all look properly done. And I'm so thrilled with the outcome. I was going to do a design on top of it, but while it didn't really take as long as I thought it would take, after a long day and a full removal and then doing the application, I figured I would save the design for another day. So this is going to be a 1-color mani and strictly about the process of applying acrylic nails. And that's what I've got for you right now. I will say that for some reason I had the habit of applying the first bead exceedingly thin, so it was sliding off the side of the paper forms. For some reason it was easier for me to pick up the second and third beads properly for each nail, but for some reason the first bead was always a little runny. So that's something that I'm going to have to work on. But overall, since the last time I did acrylics on nail stands, on practice nails, it's surprisingly gotten a lot better. So you do want to make sure that when you're patting down the acrylic and shaping it, that you keep moistening your brush. I did just purchase from, what company is it? Forgot the name of the company right now, but I did just purchase a Kolinsky brush, which is apparently the best, or one of the best brushes for acrylics that you can buy. They are a bit more expensive, but I feel like if it makes it easier to do acrylics and there's less likelihood of damaging the bristles of the brush, then it's worth purchasing it. I got mine for Chiaroscuro, that's the brand. I got mine from Amazon. I think it was like $39 for one brush. It's also a size 8. I found the size 8 a lot easier to work with than the size 12 or 14 that a lot of artists recommend you use. It's just as easy to pick up the proper sized bead with a smaller brush. It's all in how much liquid you have in your brush. And to that end, what you want to make sure you do, which I keep having to remind myself, is that you don't just dip. And here is me spilling my acrylic powder. I'm going to, touch on this for a moment because I can't believe how calm I was about it in the moment. Ironically, I was watching a Marla Chris video while I was doing my nails, and just as I was cleaning up the spill, she knocked her powder over as well. So I thought it was quite funny. But I was able to scoop most of it up, cleaned my workspace, and went back to the process at hand. And now I've lost my train of thought. Kolinsky brush. Oh, so when you dip your brush into your monomer, you want to make sure that you don't just dip it in. You want to make sure that you press the bristles down against the bottom of the dappen dish or vial, whatever you're using to hold your usable monomer, and really soak those bristles. And then when you pull it out of the monomer, lightly wipe it against the side of the jar, only on one side. Then you want to turn the brush over to the wet side, use that to pick up the acrylic, and then apply it to your nail. And then when you're going in to work with it on your nail, you want to make sure that you're wiping any residue off the brush and that you're re-wetting the brush so that the acrylic doesn't stick to the bristles. And that's something that I had to really keep reminding myself, because I would wipe off the brush and then go right directly back to the nail and it would stick right to the bristles. So you want to clean the brush, dip it back in the monomer, press it, get it really moistened well, wipe off one side of the brush, and then go in and dab the acrylic down onto the nail, press it against the side wall, and slowly work it up the nail from the cuticle to the free edge. So after I took off all the paper forms and I was looking at the profile of my nails, I noticed that a few of my fingers were a little uneven with the application. On one edge of the free edge, it would be thinner than on the other side. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any issues with my nail cracking or breaking. So I went in and I just added a little bit of extra acrylic on top where I felt it was necessary. All right, so now we've got both hands done. I apologize for the blue all over my hands. It's food coloring from work. But you can see that I do have some seepage along the free edge, not the free edge, the free edge, the sidewalls, which I'm going to clean up. And then I'm going to file my nails down a bit so that they're all the same length. I'm going to be going back and forth between my e-file and my hand file. And then once everything is smoothed out and shaped properly, I'm going to base coat and top coat with gel. And then that's going to be it. All right, so I did initially start using my Light Elegance primer, base coat and top coat. I did not like it at all. The primer's fine. I had no problem with it. I should note, though, that this specific primer is only for on top of nail extensions. Do not put it on your bare nails. I made that mistake, and it burns. It is not for on your natural nail plate. It's only for extensions. but you should use a primer anyway whenever you're using gel products, so use the ones that you like. After I used the, I think it's called Vita Primer, because it's vitamin enhanced, I went in with the base coat. It was fine, no problems with it. When I went in with the top coat, their top coat is extremely thick. And while I usually use Madam Glam, and is a little bit on the thick side as well, it's thick in a very different way, in that you know it's going to give you full coverage. It goes on smoothly. You can see the viscosity of it and how well it's coating the nail. And this is not a Madam Glam plug. This is just me comparing and contrasting the two different brands and what I noticed. But the Light Elegance top coat specifically is thick in a gloppy way, in that it doesn't really flow too well, and I felt it left unevenness and pockmarks on my nail, to the point where the next night I filed it off, reshaped the nail, and used Madam Glam. So I would say if you have a favorite brand, there's no reason to switch. There's no reason to shop around other products unless you're starting to have problems with the ones you're using. If you find a product that you love, just stick with it, because clearly there's reasons why you like it in the first place. So I will probably be using my Light Elegance base and top coat for just fake nails in the future whenever I'm playing with new designs. But going forward, I'm just going to stick with my Madam Glam because I love it, it works, and I never have any problems with it. And that's going to bring us to the close of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not a tutorial. This is just what I did and things that I learned in the process that I thought you might find value in. I did have some acrylic stuck to my fingers after the fact because, as I said, I was using a bit more monomer than I should have. Don't do this. Don't use nippers to pull away the acrylic. Do as I say, not as I do. But so yeah, these are just things that I learned in the process of doing my nails. Obviously, it's a learning curve, and I hope to keep progressing. But as always, finishing up with a little bit of cuticle oil. And that's going to close out this video. Thank you so much for sticking around this long. If you've made it to the end, thank you. I hope I can get a like and a subscribe, and please ring that bell so that you know when new videos are available. And I'll see you in the next video.